are red hot as they start their road trip. And with us today is Jess Belmosto to talk about the Calgary Flames as they continue to play well. That coming up next on the Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Gil Martin here, and with me today from Locked On Flames, Jess Belmosto, and so good to have you here. Finally, we've been trying to do this for a little while, and we timed it well because your team is red hot. Tell me a little bit about this two-game winning streak and some of the surprising goal scoring you've been getting.
Honestly, I'm just so impressed with Andrew Mangiapane coming out of the gate and just red hot, 22, 23-year-old kid who had a breakout season last year, career high 19 goals, and just looked fantastic. And then Elias Lindholm, who is the top line center, had a hat trick Saturday afternoon. And just the two of them have combined, minus empty netters, have scored 90% of the Flames' goals, which you can look at as a concerning thing, or you can be optimistic and say, hey, at least Mangiapane's scoring on the fourth line.
It's a little bit of a mixed blessing. I mean, obviously, you want to be able to spread the wealth around. You don't want to rely too much on one or two players. And yet, when they're red hot, you want to ride that hot streak.
Absolutely. And you can't really take it for granted, especially with this team. You take the wins you can get.
No doubt about that. And you know, Markstrom comes up with the shutout as well. That had to be an encouraging sign for this team, too.
Yeah, so it was actually the backup goalie that they had just acquired this offseason. It was Dan Vladar from Boston, and he just had a fantastic game, and Gaudreau hit his 500 points. It was, you couldn't ask for a better game. I mean, of course, maybe a better second period, but all in all, it was they won.
That they did. And look, they're 2 games now into a 5-game road trip. What does having a 5-game road trip this early in the season do, both good and bad, for this team right now?
I think that this is a perfect time for this team to really bond and to really get to know each other. There have been a lot of new additions, and they haven't had a U.S. road trip since 2019 or very early 2020. So, to have 5 games right off the bat, it's a great time for them to get comfortable. They need to get to know each other, and it is a lot, but I'm just glad that it's kind of staggered and not necessarily back to back to back.
That definitely does help. Talk to me a little bit about a guy who doesn't show up a lot on the score sheet, but he's +4 right now, Noah Hanifin. What has he been doing well?
I was very worried about him heading into this season because I had a feeling they were going to break him up from Chris Tanev, who is a fantastic defensive pairing, but he is just always where he needs to be, and he's kind of taken some of the younger guys under his wing, which is funny considering he's only 24, but he's been in the league so long that he's considered a vet. And it's just nice to see. I think that he is obviously recovered from his shoulder surgery pretty well. Can't complain there. I know that he spent the summer playing some summer league back home in Massachusetts. So it's really great just to see him grinding away out there.
What about Milan Lucic? How has he looked so far, and your early impressions this year on him?
Man, I really want to say nice things about him, but every once in a while, by every once in a while, I mean every 60 minutes, so at least once a game, he's out there doing something ridiculous, usually sending the Flames to the penalty kill, and they end up, letting up a goal. So I'm hoping that this is just kind of I'm older, I need to just kind of like shake the dust off a little bit, but time will tell.
What is the key for this team to continue this win streak and continue to be productive on the road trip? What are you looking to see?
Consistency. I think the biggest thing with this team is finding something and sticking to it. When last season, they were switching lines, they were all over the place, but it seems like that top line of Gaudreau, Lindholm, and Tkachuk are really working together. I think it's fantastic that Gaudreau's really able to assist and help make plays more than he was with Sean Monahan and whatever AHLer they wanted to put on his other wing. But I just think that staying healthy, I mean, that's an obvious answer too, but this team, once one domino falls, they all fall.
How are special teams looking so far this year, and how big of a concern are they to you at this point?
I mean, they could always be better. I'm not entirely sure why Blake Coleman isn't on power play unit, like the first power play unit, especially with Lucic out there. Excuse me. And I know that Daryl Sutter has a soft spot for Luch, but at the same time, we're here to win games. This isn't nepotism. So gonna have to figure that out. Penalty kill is always gonna be a concern, but again, gotta make do with what you got.
Looking ahead at the season, who are the leaders on this team that you feel really are the key to making everyone around them better?
Oh, absolutely, Chris Tanev. He came over from Vancouver last year and really, I think after 10 years, and he just came over and started taking the younger guys under his wing, spending extra time with them out on the ice. A lot of the guys who seem to have found themselves bouncing back and forth between the AHL and NHL. And it was just really nice to see that. I think Markstrom is a leader, and definitely Tkachuk and Michael Backlund. I think they're both pretty good.
What kind of a reception do you think this team will get at the conclusion of this road trip? I mean, how important will it be to get more than one home game under their belt?
Oh, so the weird thing about this team is that they don't play well at home. That's one of the first things I noticed when I started covering them. They're that weird anomaly that they're just like, no, we play better on the road, which is very weird. But I really think that this could set the tone. I mean, it's 5 games. It's a decent chunk. And excuse me, they're still getting to feel each other out and work the kinks out. So I really think it's important, and I hope that they head back to Calgary strong and not defeated. That's for sure.
You think it's because they play a simpler game on the road? What's the reason for that disparity?
I don't know, because I think that they all obviously feed off of the fans' energy, but part of me wonders if there's not a lot of pressure away from the Saddle Dome.
Could be. Jess, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find your podcast and where they can find you on social media?
Yes, so you can find me on Locked On Calgary Flames and on the National Show on Wednesdays. And of course, you can follow me on social media at Jess Belmosto.
All right, Jess, thanks so much for doing this. Looking forward to speaking with you again soon.
Thank you.
All right.